I understand the saying now that ignorance is bliss. Because it is. If I can do dumb shit without somebody constantly calling out that it's dumb shit, well, listen, can I get a season pass? What's up, you guys? It is Jess, and welcome back to another episode of Life in the Gray. This is a space where we get real about the parts of life that do not fit in pretty little Instagram captions. Today, I want to slow it down just a little bit, and I want to talk about how healing isn't always about leveling up or becoming your best self. Sometimes it's just learning how to live with the losses that you never asked for. I've ended friendships, I've ended relationships, and just about every time somebody would tell me, you're doing good, you're growing, that just shows growth, you're moving ahead, you're learning. But it didn't feel like that. It felt more like a funeral. You can grow and grieve at the same time. It's just important that you know the difference between the two. So this is how I learned how to hold space for both grief and growth. First, I stopped putting a time period on it. I stopped asking myself, when will this be over? I started asking things like, how can I learn to live with this instead? Because some things you'll just never get over, and you have to learn how to build your life around the loss. Eventually, you will learn to laugh again without feeling guilty. You will be able to have those memories without breaking down every single time. Because healing isn't about erasing the pain. It's about making space for it without letting it take over. Some of us don't like to let go of the pain because it feels like we're letting go. It feels like the people and things we once loved will soon be forgotten. But I'm here to tell you that when a person leaves an impression on you, it's in you, built in you. The way you move, the way you respond to certain situations, certain mannerisms. When people have positively impacted your life, you don't have to hold on to the pain to remember them, because you are a living product. You are living proof of what they have done. You are living proof of the love that they shared while they were here. You are living proof of the way that they can just shake a room. And I don't want to go so far into grief as if the person has passed, because there are some people that impact our lives while they're in it. And unfortunately, they have to move on to impact others. I mentioned, and I believe the last episode, that people aren't ours. Sometimes they're here to teach you a lesson, and sometimes they're here for you to teach them one. And we have to accept that. And that is exactly why you're able to grieve and grow at the same time. Learning to be able to let go is definitely a sign of growth. Not beating yourself up, not feeling like you did something wrong, not thinking about what you could have, should have, and would have done. Because sometimes it doesn't matter what you do, the outcome will still be the same. Because sometimes the time is just up. So understanding and accepting that you are not always in control of the narrative. That is growth. Letting go and letting the person leave, that's going to start your grieving process. Now, just because you understand all these things, it doesn't erase the pain, but it does soften the blow. Because the narrative is no longer how they left you, no longer how they abandoned you, no longer how they walked out on you. The narrative is now, it was just time. We had our time, and now it's just time for them to move on to something different. I've spoken to a lot of people who have lost loved ones. And I've heard them say many times, how could they leave me? Why would they leave me? Why is this happening to me? It's so sad that during the grieving process, we can sound so selfish. Because regardless of if they are with the Lord or they just moved on to something different, it is our duty to assume that they are in a better space. So what gives you the right to be upset about that? Why would you view that as a bad thing? Now, once again, I'm not saying that you don't have a reason to feel the way that you feel. You can be sad, you can be disappointed. But to ask the question of why, you don't deserve to ask that. Sometimes we don't know the why. And sometimes a person doesn't tell you the why because they know either you won't be able to understand it or you probably won't be able to handle it. Some of us want the growth without the grief. Everyone wants to be the best version of themselves. Everyone wants a testimony without a test. Everyone wants the rewards without the hard work. Everyone wants to find the people that are meant for them without losing the ones that are not. This is a world where you cannot have it all. Sometimes you have to pick your poison. And sometimes you're blessed enough that God removes that poison before you even knew it was poisonous. Now, I don't mean to go off and preach because I'm far from a Bible thumper. I'm actually just now starting to read it. And so that's not me. But God is always in my heart. Always has been, always will be. So everything that I say comes from a place of love. And I just want us to not only give ourselves more grace, but to give others more grace, because none of us landed here with a manual of exactly what to do. Like I said, you can reference the Bible. There are stories in there. But once again, there's no manual to this thing called life. And things are constantly changing and evolving. You have to be willing to move with the times. But you also have to be willing to accept the fact that you are not always in control. Some people have been removed from you. Have you ever said the prayer, which I'm sure you have, because I believe most of us have, God, if this person is not for me, please remove them from my life. How many times did you pray? How many times did you say that prayer and actually meant it? Because a lot of us pray for things and we're not prepared for the disappointment. You pray for things, you say that prayer because you're hoping that you're going to get some kind of sign to prove that they should actually stay a while longer. And you will fool yourself into thinking that because you guys woke up the next day and had an amazing dinner and had some bomb sex, that was your sign that they were meant to stay. But you did not know that the following week they would be removed from your life, and now you are in pieces. I do not mean to laugh, but you know what? I think I'm able to laugh because I've been there too many times. I'm even reluctant to saying that prayer. So I'm like, God, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. You know, this is a slippery slope. I think I'm going to stay on it a while longer before I actually want you to lift the covers off from over my eyes, because I'm just not ready to know the truth yet. How many people can admit that they're just not ready to know the truth? How many? I understand the saying now that ignorance is bliss, because it is. If I can do dumb shit without somebody constantly calling out that it's dumb shit, well, listen, can I get a season pass? Because knowing the truth and then being responsible for your reactions to it, being accountable for the parts that you played, and then being responsible for having to make the decision to remove yourself because it's obviously the best thing to do. Who wants to do that? I know I don't. Grief is never fun. Growth sounds amazing, but what people don't understand is, all right, y'all, really quickly, if you are enjoying the vibes of this conversation and you are ready to join a space where you don't have to fake it or pretend like you have it all figured out, then you need to join the 50/50 Club waitlist. The waitlist is now open, and the great part about it is, if you join the waitlist now, once the group opens, you will be one of the founding members. And not only will you get to join for free, but you will also have a free lifetime membership. That's right, a free lifetime membership for all founding members. So do not wait. Join now, because there are only a limited amount of spots available. So go ahead and click the link down in the show notes and we will get you in. And until then, I will see you on the inside. Even if you don't lose something, even for growth, you have to break it down first. When you're trying to build muscles, you're trying to get stronger, build your strength. Now, y'all already know I got a little meat on my bones, a lot of meat on my bones. So I'm no fitness coach. I'm nobody's fitness coach. But I've been to enough gyms. I've spoken to enough coaches. I've went to enough boot camps to know that you have to break those muscles down. You have to lift heavy and break them down so they can build back up. And nobody likes the recovery part. No, they don't like the recovery part. You know, let's talk a little bit about this. Some people are so afraid to grieve that they will rush to find a placement holder just to keep themselves from feeling the pain. It's nothing worse than finding an innocent person that really is interested in you and bleeding on them for something that they did not do. And then wanting to make them be responsible for picking up the pieces and repairing your broken heart. That's your job. Nobody's responsible for making sure you're healed. Definitely not making sure you're happy. Because if I just met you and you don't know how to make you happy, I'm trying to figure out how the hell I'm supposed to know how to make you happy. Ma'am, I just met you. And if you've been you your whole life and you still haven't figured it out, then I don't know how you thought we were going to figure it out after 2 dates, a kiss, and maybe a little foot rub. Because let's be real, there hasn't been much talking going on anyways. I'm just cutting to the chase. That is where the real growth is. Growth is just as painful as grief. That is why we get them so confused. But we think growth is only the glamorous moments. You fight tooth and nail. People do not share their stories in the trenches too much. And I'm not talking about rappers and actors. We hear their stories all the time. But even like, I feel like people have so many generic stories. I just can't take it. It's so hard to know what's real and what's not. I think that having like a struggle story has become so common that people will fabricate them just to feel like they fit in. But everybody's struggle isn't the same. And if you just be honest with your audience, I'm pretty sure somebody out there will relate. Somebody will relate to your story. Doesn't always have to start out with you not having a place to stay, you not having a father, your mom didn't love. It doesn't always have to be that deep. And I listen, I know there are some people, a lot of people who have that story, but I'm talking to the ones who don't. Your story does not have to run that deep for you to be able to relate. Your story doesn't have to run that deep for it to actually be painful for you. I know sometimes we hear people's story and you're like, that's what got you traumatized? Well, let me tell you, no, this isn't the trauma Olympics. Yes, that's what had me traumatized. Yes, I had both of my parents and I still dealt with some trauma. Yes, absolutely. Yes, I dealt with some abandonment issues. Yes, I felt like I probably wasn't the priority in people's lives as I was growing up. Absolutely. But because I wasn't struggling for my meals, because I was not misplaced, does not mean that my trauma didn't impact me just as much as yours impacted you. So we got to stop comparing, start supporting, start understanding, start just accepting people. Accept people. We preach about people being authentic, but then when they are and they tell their truths, you gotta shame them for it. I don't blame them for wanting to hide, but it's time that we stop. That is why life has become so copy and paste. People are grieving themselves every single day and not experiencing an ounce of growth because they buried who they really are so deep just so they can feel like they're being seen from society. Imagine pretending to be someone just so someone can see you and they still don't see you. They see the person you created, the persona. They still don't see you. That's even more unfulfilling than being yourself and not being accepted. Because like I said, there's somebody for you. There's a group of people for you. You just can't find them because everybody's trying to be like the next person. So maybe if you open up and be who you truly are, maybe the next person will feel comfortable and be like, hey, you know what? I struggle with the same things. I feel the same way. You'll get your village, but everybody has to be willing to be themselves. And that is something that is just not popular these days. We're not chasing popularity. We're trying to make it through this thing called life. And it's already hard enough. Even if you feel like you have it all figured out, it's still hard because guess what? It's always another boss at the next level. You never get to the end. There's always going to be a new boss. So at least make sure you have people with you along the way because you will constantly grow and you will constantly grieve. And grieving is not always the death of a loved one. Grieving comes in all forms. Your car can get repossessed. You're grieving. You just lost your food stamps. Oh, you're grieving. Yeah. Your home catches fire. You lose all of your possessions. You are grieving. Someone that you felt to be your best friend backstabs you. You are grieving. And that's okay. Just got to know how to label it. So if you're in the thick of it right now, here's my advice to you. Stop forcing your pain to look like progress. It's okay. Because it's okay if you don't feel strong today. It's okay if the best you can do is just to get out of bed and breathe. It is okay. Healing is not a performance. It's very fucking personal. Very, very personal. And I need for you to treat it as such. And it doesn't matter how it looks from the outside to other people. You just have to know that even the small steps mean that you're still moving forward. Doesn't matter how slow it is. All movement counts. All movement matters. So don't let the feeling of feeling like you're not moving fast enough stall you. Some people will feel like they're not moving fast enough, so they'll just stop completely. Baby steps are okay. Babies take baby steps. They get a little older, they take larger steps. Get a little older, they take larger steps. And just like babies take baby steps, you become an adult and you're taking those large leaps. You get to that place and you wish you could go back to those baby steps. So enjoy the baby steps. It's okay. Some movement is better than none.